So thank you so much for joining us. I'll just do a brief little intro and then I'll hand over to you. You can tell us a bit more about your business, and then we've got some questions to run through, and then we've had some questions sent in as well. So really, really excited. As I was just saying before you joined us, I've known you for 10 plus years, 14 years, a really long time. Yeah, I know, it's scary. Way back in blogging days, but Jen's had a fantastic story and journey in her business. It's so exciting. I can't wait to delve a bit deeper. But Jen now helps female creative entrepreneurs master Pinterest marketing so that they can create newfound confidence, focus, and financial security. Over the last 4 years, she's helped loads of business owners, bloggers achieve an increase in their website traffic with Pinterest. This obviously enables them to improve their business, their sales, email list, customers. She's got Pinterest one-to-one courses, membership clubs. You've got the new Clarity membership to help people with menopause and how that affects them in business. So many different little arms to the businesses that I absolutely love. But I'll hand over now to Jen, let you introduce yourself a bit better than I have. And maybe you can kind of start off telling us how you kind of got into working for yourself and where all these fantastic business ideas came from.
Thank you. Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? When you live it and do it yourself, you kind of think, well, it's just been my sort of natural progression. But I recently did a podcast with a fabulous lady who was doing something similar and telling stories of women's journeys, really. And we went right back to like my degrees in psychology. So I've got a psychology background. And then over the years, I've done so many different kinds of jobs, I suppose, through my career. And I worked in food retail, and then I had a cleaning business, and I worked in IT for a massive global outsourcing company, did project management. Then I had another of my own businesses, and I ran my own company teaching baby signing. And then I kind of went into the blogging, which has been the last, well, as I say, as you said, sort of 14 years or so. But I think throughout all of that, sort of that entrepreneurial journey, there's always been this theme of sharing and helping and especially and women and supporting and bigging up other women. And that's always been a theme throughout everything I've done, which probably in my 20s and 30s I didn't really realize it was just me. It was just what I did. And then as I sort of came to my late 30s and 40s, it was much more contrived, and it was much more a part of me and who I am and what I love doing and what I stand for, when we get really clear on who we are and what our values are. And that's been a massive part of my journey, especially over the last 20 years, is that I want to support, help, and enable other women to do what they love to do. And, we all have our journeys and our wobbles and our insecurities. And probably one of mine was, well, I don't really know what I'm good enough at to be able to do that. I was good at blogging. I was able to bring all of my skills and experience, I guess, together and just pull that into a blog about something that I loved. And it created this new world and this kind of whole new life, really. It completely changed my life and my family's lives over the last decade, and has enabled me to bring all kinds of skills out there in an online world to other women, mostly, some other guys as well. And that's been through Pinterest, and now it's wider through digital marketing and women kind of in their 40s and 50s who want to have an online business. It's been quite a journey. It's been quite a lot of different
and some of the things that I remember, things like you presented on QVC at one point, which was absolutely wild. You've obviously been heavily involved in a lot of big brand campaigns, Magnet Kitchens, through your interiors blog. You've had like over 1 million followers on Pinterest and 1 million click-throughs to your website from Pinterest, which is massive. I'm sure anybody watching this will be like, whoa, that's huge. It's it's fantastic, and I'm glad to hear that it sort of introduced you and sort of given you like this springboard
Yeah.
into now doing something that you really love right to your very core, and it's letting you be able to sort of help and support and empower others, something that I'm massive about as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it's absolutely fantastic. So that sort of, when you dipped your toe into the whole blogging thing, did you
Yeah.
even have that vision that this was the journey that, you know, you were aiming towards, that you were going to want to support and help other people?
No.
Just gonna happen.
I would love to say that, I had a 5-year vision or a 10-year plan or whatever, but no, quite frankly, we didn't have a lot of money and I needed to make some more, you know?
That was a good start.
Yeah. And I was bored. I'd got little kids. My kids were really small at the time. Did I have both of them? Yeah, I did. And I was knackered. I was super tired and I wasn't making any money and I was fed up. And I felt it was, it's one that you get those times when you look back, don't you? You've had those times in your life when you thought they were the crux moments where everything changed. And I'd been doing Tiny Talk for 5 years. Tiny Talk was the baby signing franchises that I owned. And it was great. And it gave me a really good, like you say, springboard, a great word.
Yeah.
It's sort of, and when you look back, everything seems really disjointed, but actually there's this big arc where it is all joined up. Because if I'd not done Tiny Talk, I wouldn't have discovered social media. I started blogging about the business I was running. And even then that blog was about helping other mums do franchise businesses. And I had a friend who I'd bought Tiny Talk from, who you probably know is big in the blogging world, Becky Goddard Hill. And I knew her before blogging. I bought my baby signing franchise off her because she'd done that when that was 16, 17 years ago. And I can't even remember what I was talking about now, sorry. It's just like, just that one thing leads to another and then to another, and you sort of build and grow and develop these different skill sets. And it takes time, doesn't it? You can't always get that in your 20s. It takes time to get to the point where you bring everything together. And like you say, you're doing something then that you love at your very core. It's just so empowering.
It's a learned experience as well, isn't it? Because I think, was it yesterday, I did a live all about overnight success, and again it's this thing of like, overnight success is something that we place on the person that we see. That person never attributes that to themselves, and nobody ever sees the behind the scenes. Like you're saying, this has been like 20 years in the making.
It really has,
starting from the Tiny Talk franchise.
Yeah, that's right. And I wrote an email to my list just the other week talking about QVC. She mentioned QVC. And I fell into that. None of it was all planned. And it was just by taking opportunities and putting myself out there because it was fun. When we started blogging, it was nothing like it is now. Instagram didn't even exist, did it? And it was just massive fun all the time. The opportunities were incredible. The stuff we used to do was fab. And it felt like kind of playing at life in a lot of ways. And I just got a call and said, we've seen you doing some, I did a YouTube presenting thing. Somebody paid me a silly little amount of money to present something on YouTube. And then it got seen, don't know how, by someone. And we'd like you to come and do a screen test for QVC. And I'm like, okay. So I took my cushion down to this screen test, and I had to talk about this cushion that I'd taken with me. And then I got through to the next stage, and the next stage I did all the training with QVC, and I was, when you look back now, it was massive, amazing training for the kind of visibility stuff that we do now for our businesses online when Instagram didn't even exist. And I was able to, just go on live and talk for 45 minutes about rugs.
I, to this very day, remember it. Obviously, QVC isn't the sort of thing, unless you're really hard into it, obviously, that you sit and watch. But I remember being like, shh, Jen's on the TV.
Yeah, I know, and all these people would like watch it. My kids and everything, their babysitter. But yeah, it was, I loved it. I really, really loved it. It was hardcore. cutthroat business, absolutely cutthroat there. And if you didn't perform and if you didn't sell the stuff, you were out. But I
Yeah,
loved it. Yeah, it was really good fun. And I learned so much from it, just from presenting and doing lives and not being worried
it's a
about putting my
brilliant
face out
story.
there. And yeah, and I thought, oh, great, this could lead, I'm going to be on I'm going to be on This Morning. I'm going to have my slot presenting. Yeah, of course that didn't happen. But never mind. I did it for 6 months, and it did give me loads of opportunities, and it led me to be able to do big brand campaigns where I do lots of filming. I would go and do shoots. I've even had a runner. I've had my own runner get me coffee and all that stuff. Madness. But yeah, it wasn't a plan. It was kind of flying by the seat of my pants for probably 5 years, 6 years, and just taking whatever came my way. And it was incredible opportunities. We had holidays, and so much stuff in my house, and brand
Yeah,
collaborations. The brand collaborations were incredible, and that's always been really important to me, was that networking with different brands and just really understanding how I could take this. I had 50 quid and I set up this business, and it became this huge earner. It's a limited company, it's my business, it's what I do full time, and it built and grew, and we always had to stay one step ahead, really, because it evolved and changed so fast, so much. When Instagram came along, it was just so different, and it was about staying relevant and being savvy with it all and
absolutely.
treating it like a business. And I think
Mm.
that's how we survived.
Yeah, yeah. No, I always remember it. And the reason I came out of it was I started to find the holidays, some of the experiences were really, really stressful because it was no
Yeah,
longer a holiday.
it's
It
not a
was,
holiday.
it was like, oh, we've got to get this shot, and a lot of it was vlog based, and the videos that I created were really quite cinematic, and it was like, right, do that again, do that again. And like they were all having a great time, and I'm the one that's freaking out, and it's like, whose holiday is
Yeah,
this?
really
Because
stressful. And I did a lot of travel on press trips in the
mm,
design industry around Europe. I'm actually booked to go on one in the States, where I don't think it's going to happen. It's been booked for 2 years, but obviously it hasn't happened.
yeah,
Um,
shame.
but those trips, they looked amazing, and we could get some incredible content, but they were huge, huge work, massive. Generally, you would average sort of 3 or 4 hours sleep a night, and you would just be on the go constantly. And everyone says, "Oh yeah, hard life," but and I'm not moaning about it at all. But the reality was,
Yeah.
it was huge pressure, a lot of hard work. You had to be on, all the time. And I think you've said before, I'm a sort of semi-introvert, and whilst I like people and I like being on show, I get exhausted by it. And it
Yeah.
was just huge to learn all of that about yourself and how to be a kind of influencer before that term was even born, really.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, yeah,
So you've a massive journey, huge
yeah,
journey.
yeah,
Um, at what points did the self-doubt come in? You mentioned that about the sort of like, oh, I'm not sure, I'm not sure.
yeah. I think that happens because, and I've just written another email to my list just now about overwhelm, and it working online is really overwhelming, isn't it? And I think you need to
Mm,
be able to manage your mindset, your mental health. We know now, but back then we sort of used to just chat about being not feeling not good enough, or that you weren't worthy, or you weren't as good as the next person. And everyone used to say, well, it's a wonderfully inclusive community and everything, but actually it's really competitive. There's lots of envy, and why not?
oh
Because it
yeah.
looked amazing what people were doing, even whatever was going on in the background. And so I had a lot of self-doubt. I tended to be slightly older than a lot of the blogging style communities that I was part of, and that bothered me for a long, long time. And that used to give me quite a lot of self-doubt and insecurity, that I was in the wrong place. What was I doing here? I couldn't keep doing this. I wasn't cool enough. I didn't belong, all those kinds of things. Yeah, that took me a long time to get my head around. And I think it's just the comparisons that we constantly fight. Even you and I have had these conversations about the work we do now, and the comparison thing is real, and it's just for everythody. It's just so hard to manage.
I don't think it ever goes. It is that
it
constant, it's that constant having to reframe. Someone said to me yesterday on a call, it's like an inner bitch. It's like an inner self-destruction bitch, right? It's like, oh, they're better than you. And who's to say who's doing it right and who's doing it wrong? But all of a sudden we think they're doing it right. I have to be doing it that way. And it's constant.
It's constantly checking yourself to say, no, hang on a minute. I know what I am. I know what I stand for. I know what I'm trying to achieve. And I follow all these other people, or I listen to these other podcasts, or I watch this workshop because I want to learn X, Y, and Z. But you have to know when to stop, and you have to know when to say enough. Now I'm going to concentrate on me. And it takes quite a lot of courage, I think, to say, no, this is who I am and why I am of value to other people. And that has taken me a long time to be comfortable with. Probably the last 5 years I've been working quite hard on that. And I think that's everything.
It's so easy to get swept up in what everybody else is doing, and that's what you should be doing. It's like, that's how it is. Everyone's writing books. I must have my own book, or whatever it might be.
My freebie isn't good enough, or my prices are wrong. I'm too expensive, or I'm not on Instagram enough, and I'm not doing reels.
Clubhouse. Guilt,
don't go with her about Clubhouse. I had an account.
Going out. No, I actually went and bought an iPhone because I don't do Apple. I physically went and spent
you never
400 quid on an iPhone
so you could get Clubhouse.
It's sat. It doesn't even have any juice. That's how often I've been on Clubhouse since I've bought this goddamn phone. I went on it twice and the thing sat there.
Next time you go to do that, message me. I'll be your inner bitch.
That's like the ultimate comparisonitis, or like getting sucked in, isn't it? It's I must go buy an iPhone.
What am I going to do? When you see the fabulous people like, Shah Wasmond and whoever going, it's the fastest way I've grown a following, blah, blah, blah. Look, it's all, we have to do what we want to do and what we know we are focusing on. And that was the one thing that I've realized and that I've learned is about focus. You obviously are great at planning and content planning, and I've learned so much from you and your membership, bizarrely, even though you might not see me there very often. I have, I promise.
Good to hear.
And I never used to plan 10, 14, 15 years ago. It was just like wing it and see what happens, throw stuff out there and see what sticks. And you can't do that anymore. You absolutely can't do that. Whatever kind of business you've got, there has to be some element of planning. And I think that's a great way to manage all those mind monkeys and the worries and insecurities, is to kind of have that plan, however loose it might be. Well, I'm going to write an email this week, or I'm going to write a blog post, or, I'm going to put my new collection online, or whatever it might be. You have that plan. Don't get distracted from it. Know when the distractions are becoming too much, and shut them off. Stop following everybody. Switch off Instagram. Do some work.
Absolutely, definitely. No, it's crazy. So obviously social media has helped you massively over the years. What sort of platforms have worked for you, not worked for you? Have you dipped your toe into? You've obviously tried Clubhouse and vetoed it.
I quite like Clubhouse. It's quite nice. But just because all my big entrepreneurs, digital entrepreneurs that I follow, they're all there, they're all using it. So you can get in a room and chat to, your idols or whatever. So it's quite cool that way. How it will transpire and pan out, I don't know, but I don't have time for it, and I need to make sure that I
Very
focus
time,
on the
yeah.
things that work for me, that I'm still building and growing. And I, as bloggers, you know, we used everything, didn't we? Oh, what was the one we used to use where we could like, oh, I can't remember what it was called. Every blog post I wrote went out onto this platform and it got shared. I used to get tons of traffic from it, and I can't even remember what it was called. And
We
yeah,
used to do link parties and things, didn't we? Like we
yeah,
would host a,
yeah,
you
link
know,
party, yeah,
a weekly roundup thing. I think it
yeah.
still goes on. I'm
It does
sure I saw
indeed.
someone.
It
I saw
does.
a me and mine post by someone, which was that mummy daddy me one, and it
Oh
was
yeah.
and it's like me and mine or something, and I'm like, oh my God, is that still going on like
What was the
10
one
years
that we used to do
later?
on Sundays? Sunday Silence or something
Oh,
like that, wasn't it? And you just post a
yes.
photograph, no words. I mean, how bad is that for SEO? No! I deleted all of those recently. But yeah, there were all kinds of weird and wonderful networking things that only really existed in the blogging world that we used to do. And I've tried most social media platforms. I've even been involved in ones that have come and gone, which I can't remember the names of now, where I was kind of paid to be part of them as they developed and got out there, and they just never worked.
Mhm.
I don't, as yet, I haven't marketed myself on TikTok. I use it, I look at it. I've got, you know, Snapchat's not for me. I've still got Twitter, but my place is Instagram, Pinterest, and my mailing list.
Yeah.
And I've got Facebook, I use a lot, but that's to host communities
Mhm.
because it works really well that way. I'm not particularly
Yeah.
keen on any of the others. And so I think it's just finding out where your audience is.
It is, and it's key that you recognise that as well. And that's something that I take the opportunity to point out to people is that you don't have to put in the same content out everywhere. You know, it's not this thing of like, we'll just get a scheduler like Hootsuite of create an Instagram post. Let me just blanket that on as many social
No,
media
please
as I
don't.
can.
Yeah,
It's not about that. It's about strategically being like, okay, I'm going to post this on LinkedIn because I know that's what goes on there. I'm going to post this on, you know,
yeah,
Instagram, and I'm solely going to use Facebook as my community for groups.
yeah,
It's being strategic about it and wise about it.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I think so. I think it's understanding, and I come back to this so much, is understanding who you are targeting and who your client is, whatever you sell, whether it's product or service. For small businesses using social media is understanding where your client is, who that, you know, is that, like for me, you know, if I'm going to sell to a 45-year-old woman, where am I going to find them? A lot of them are going to be on Facebook, but also I probably want the ones that are on Instagram because they're going to be the bit more tech savvy and
Mm-hmm.
kind of putting themselves out there a bit. So yeah, it's just really understanding that, and that can take time, can take research, and it can take trial and error, I think, to really
Yeah,
find where your ideal client is.
yeah, a
But
bit of
yeah,
practice.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I see this comment here, from Maisie's house
yeah,
there, feel the pressure a lot. The more successful you are, particularly on social media, the more you feel you have to do better constantly. I think that can happen. I think you do start to feel pressure then to show up. But I've always had this, I don't know if this helps, I've always had this view and this mindset that I kind of want to do things. I've always wanted to do things differently. I've never really, yeah, I like to follow the crowd and follow a trend or whatever, but then I like to take it and make it my own. And so if I don't want to post on Instagram, then I don't.
yeah,
And I think that has to have an impact on the people that follow you as well, in that giving them permission to kind of say, well, it's okay. You don't
yeah,
have to be there constantly. It doesn't rule your life. It's a tool, it's a marketing tool. And yeah, we're privileged to be able to use these platforms for free, but equally don't let them take over. Don't let them, yeah, affect how you think
yeah.
and how you feel.
Absolutely. I was having this sort of thought last night because I was watching, it was funnily enough, an interiors program. And the women had said, you know, we need to stop commoditizing, is that the right word? The houses, you know, like the more bedrooms, the better. So 5 bedroom,
Yeah,
6 bedroom, en suites and all the rest of it. And I was thinking, that's the same as content. We need to stop is that the right word? Commoditizing?
commoditizing it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Like basically the number of followers that you have, the number of
Yeah.
platforms that you're on. Like we need to stop making it like these are all the sort of like achievements, the Blue Peter badges, if you
Yeah.
like, the being successful
Yeah.
online, because you don't need to have massive audience. You just need to have an engaged one.
You
You
do
don't have to
indeed.
be everywhere. You just, you know, and it's just like we need to stop with this like grow your
Yeah.
audience and do this and do that. And it's like, no, it's just
No, I mean, I'm more turned on by somebody going, I've got a small audience and I only use Instagram and I'm doing this and loving it. And I kind of think that's what we should be aspiring to. We shouldn't,
absolutely.
yeah,
And I'm
we
only
shouldn't,
working 4-day weeks.
yeah, I have Fridays off and I spend every afternoon doing, I don't know, whatever it is with your kids or watching Netflix or having my nails done, whatever floats your boat. It's about
Absolutely.
balance, and it's about living the life you want to live and taking
Hmm.
ownership of that. And I'm really passionate about that. And I think, that this new thing that I've got into since the Pinterest marketing and through the pandemic, that has shown me that there are so many women out there who kind of in their 40s and 50s. And I know not everybody wants to put an age on it, and it's just a thing. This stuff happens to us. We start to get way more wobbly in the way we feel about stuff because of our hormones. And yet we feel that we've got so much to offer and so much to give, and we've still got tons of time to do something really exciting. You want to do it online, you want to build an online website, a business, sell stuff, but you're like, oh, not really sure that I know what I'm doing. And is it too late? Have I missed the boat? I don't know how to use Instagram or whatever. I don't know what digital marketing is, for goodness sake. And I just think there's just so much opportunity for women to do that. And yeah, but that is about balance. Definitely. You can have
Yeah.
a balanced online business.
Yeah. I mean, with all these sort of like business opportunities, all these things you do, you obviously still have your sort of foot in the water with blogging. Do you actually
Mm.
outsource any of your business or do you run it all yourself?
No, I do outsource some of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
think you
do.
have to, don't you?
Yeah, you do. And I think, you know, we've talked about this, haven't we? You get to that point where your business stays at a certain level because there's only one of you, and you can only
Hmm.
scale so much. And I have some quite big goals for myself for this year and next year. And I think if I'm going to achieve those, I have to have a team. There has to be other people doing some of the stuff for me. And so, yeah, I've got a couple of VAs at the minute that do different things. And then I've got a plan at some stage to outsource another section. Yeah. So it's a work in progress, and I've tried this before and I've never really committed to it and never really done it properly, whereas this time I'm fully committed. It has to happen. If I'm going to scale, if I'm going to grow the business, then I need to have, I can't be sat there doing a lot of the
Yeah.
different tasks that take up a lot of time. Plus, and
Yeah. Yeah.
not just time, but skills. I'm not good enough at everything. You can't be good at all of it, can you?
No, you definitely can. It's acknowledging the bits that you're good at and the bits that you're not good at. And
I mean, Facebook ads. Ah!
don't say that. I love Facebook
I
ads.
know, I know. Yeah, no. I just panicked recently and had to switch my ads off. I need somebody to do
Yeah.
it for me. Graphic design, I'm no good at. I outsource that. I sort of have Facebook community manager now, and I outsource all of my pinning. I have a VA that does all my
Yeah.
pinning. So, it's that kind of stuff that I think has given me so much more time. So it's worth so much more than the money I spend on it. It's worth its weight in gold, to give me the
Yeah.
time to be able to grow and develop.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people with outsourcing, they fear the what ifs, like what if that VA moves on? What if I have to replace them and I
Mm.
have to train up someone else? And it's like before you've even outsourced it, you're already making excuses for not to do
Yeah,
it.
it's
It's crazy,
failing
isn't
before
it?
you've even started. Yeah, and I think the trick with that is, I used to do it and it wasn't the right way. I'd find people and say, do you want to do this for me? I'll train you how to do it exactly the way I want it done. Actually, no, you've got to find the people that do this as their job, who want to do it, and they're the ones that stick around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And someone's saying it gives others an opportunity to grow as well. And it does, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of VAs, they do it to a certain point and then they want to sort of specialize in something, and
Yeah.
you know, same similar kind of journey to yourself, but
Yeah.
it's like, you know, so yeah, you have to give everyone the opportunity. And the one thing that I found, I've been through a couple of VAs and certain things, that's an absolute godsend is organising freak coming in, Loom videos and Trello
Yay.
boards with sort of processes. So it's like if
Yeah.
someone new comes in, it's like, well, there you go.
Yeah.
There's the Loom
There it all
video, you know,
is.
and you're not having to retrain them all over again. Here's the checklist.
I know. I learned
Before a
that from
blog post
you.
goes live.
Yeah. Loom. Everything's Loom. Put everything in a Loom and then shove it all in a Trello board and job done. I absolutely love Trello since you introduced it to me. Love it.
Yeah,
Everything. I do
it's an
everything on
absolute
Trello now.
godsend.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
manage all my one-to-one clients through Trello, all my memberships, my launches, my plans, everything goes through Trello.
Yeah, love it. Love
Love
it.
it.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love to hear
And I
it. It's
do, that's a
great.
really good comment, you know, to be able to impact other businesses and support other businesses to enable them to grow and make a difference to their lives and their families. It's part of what it's all about. Absolutely.
It is.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Absolutely. Exciting. So if you had one piece of advice for someone who was just starting out, maybe they're watching this and they're at that very early stage of, will I dip my toe into this? Will I start doing that? Maybe they're at that sort of age where they're questioning, like, I'm too old for this. What would
Ah.
it be?
So starting an online business and wondering
Yeah.
where to start, where to go. I think the first thing you need to do is do your research and make sure it's boring. I know it's a boring answer. It's not sexy at
Nobody
all.
ever wants to do the research, do they? But
Nobody
it's
wants to do the
foundational
research,
stuff.
but I get so many people, so many clients that come to me and say, well, you know, I've built this business because I want to show people how to, or I want to sell this amazing product I can make too. And what they don't actually identify is whether there's an audience for it. And again, that's something I've learned the hard way, is that I always thought it was about just putting out there what I was good at. Absolutely, we need to be good at it, whatever that it might be. But is there an audience for it? And is it what they really need? And I think I've worked with loads of, one of my one-to-one clients who's doing an amazing job at creating something so valuable and so worthwhile that she's been passionate about for 25 years. And it has such an impact on a part of society that really needs help. It's fantastic. But she wanted to create something because she thought that was a good idea. But actually, when we went and talked to the people that would be on the receiving end of it, they were like, well, yeah, but I need this and I need that. And actually, this is what our problem is. And so she's kind of rethought the idea. It's still, the core values are still there, but the delivery of that is slightly different. And I think you do have to go out and not just ask your family, but ask other people who you think could be a potential customer what their problems are and what they need, what kind of solutions they need that you think with your product and skills you could sort out.
Yeah.
So that would be the first thing before you even go to the point of, you know, buying a domain name or building a website or getting Instagram or whatever it is. Just make sure you've got a valid idea that people want to buy. And then everything comes from that, because you're able to sort of say, this is who I'm going to sell to. It's this person. I've done my research. I know what language they use. I know how they talk. I know about their problems and what they face and how my product is going to help them. So, all I need to do now is just tell them that I've got the solution to that problem. And there you go. Yeah, if only it's that easy. But no, if you don't do that right at the very beginning, then you may not have an audience to sell to.
You said something there about, like, not just listen to your friends and family. That's what everybody does, right? It's like, oh, well, I ran it past my friends and family, and it's like, are they going to be buyers? Are they going to be the people that you're trying to target?
Yeah, and they're going to say nice things probably,
there.
or they're going to say awful things, and you're not going to get that in between. And another one of my one-to-one clients who is creating an online retail store, fabulous ideas and setup, she did her research and said, well, I know who my target audience is because they're this and this. And it just didn't ring true to me, having a background in interiors. I'm like, who have you asked? Well, I've asked these people. So it was kind of like, it was an echo chamber. She was never going to get a different answer. Her buyers were always going to be between the ages of 25 and 35 because she'd only asked people that age. And so I'm like, I think you need to go and ask some older people if they would buy your stuff. And she came back and said, oh, they want to spend several £100s a month on their home interiors. And I'm like, ta-da, there we go. So you kind of have to go with an open mind and try with that research. It's what I did with the blog back in the day, and I researched it before I even kind of created what it was and what it was going to look like. And we didn't talk about blogs being contrived then, did we? They were meant to be a passion and organic.
Yeah,
actually, mine was always a business right from the beginning.
Worthy life. Yeah.
Yeah, no, mine was actually meant to make money right from day one, and so I found a gap in the market where it didn't exist. You know, a blog that served that audience didn't exist. There we go.
Excellent. Love it. Yeah. One of the things that I absolutely love and admire that you have tapped into is this the clarity membership, the menopause and how that affects people in business. And I'm not there yet, but I can feel the brain fog, and I am
on its way.
I'm very conscious of the fact, because I've seen a lot recently of just in general how in women in business, how your hormones can affect your decision making. I know that there's certain women who run their businesses around their monthly cycle, so it's like not launching anything that week because that's going to be hellish.
Exactly.
And basically staying away from certain things in certain weeks. So I'm like finding that very interesting. And so I know for a fact that what you do about tapping into menopause, because that's like literally taking the monthly cycle and just going blah, blah, blah.
And
there's no 30-day rules to it. It's just whenever.
All day, every day, love. That's it. I mean, and that's kind of come about because of a journey, I guess, and it's that kind of evolving sort of experience, and I think so many women don't really understand what it is. And you kind of have this, we talk about menopause and you have this idea that, oh, when I'm like mid 50s or late 50s or something, my periods will stop and I'll get really hot and that'll be it, life's over. And actually it's not. It starts in your 40s, and for some women even earlier. And perimenopause can be like 10 to 14 years, a build up. Menopause, in fact, is just one day when your periods have stopped for a year, and then your menopause is that day that it's a year, and then after that it's postmenopausal. But anyway, I suffered about 4 or 5 years ago. I was really not well at all, and it was all mindset stuff and joint pain and not sleeping.
Oh, not joint pain. Bugger off a minute.
Oh yeah, pain. You don't. I'm really sorry to say this, but I think, if there are certain things that you have had a propensity to in your life, then the menopause just screws them over, quite frankly, when you get to it. Because estrogen just depletes. It just starts to disappear. And it's the natural moisturizer in the body. So everything dries up. Everything dries up. And you can't move, and your brain doesn't work, and you feel depressed. And you get more anxious about stuff that you never used to get anxious about. And it creeps up over years, and you suddenly realize it's a bit of an issue. But I didn't know it was menopause. No clue whatsoever. And I started talking about it over the last few years, and the amount of women that have spoken to me and messaged me and commented on my Instagram posts and things like this was huge. And there are lots of women doing great things to increase awareness. And it's much more in mainstream media now, and you'll see it on the BBC and all this kind of stuff. But equally, we're freelancers. We work on our own, often in isolation of communities or workplaces. So where do we go when that's a problem? And I wanted to make it much more of an open dialogue. And I want more women who are younger to not be in denial or shocked or not know what's going on. And unfortunately, GPs and the medical professionals don't have a lot of training in it, and so it's very much misunderstood and ignored. So women have to take control of their own health and well-being. And so, yeah, what I've done is created another membership for women over 40 who are creating or building an online business, and it's called Clarity Menopause, Marketing, Mindset and Menopause. So basically we're covering those aspects. The menopause thing, to be honest, is there. It's just part of the dialogue, and we'll bitch about not being able to get HRT or something, or talk about it, or just make it, it's just an open conversation without judgment, and spreading information and spreading awareness. And we're just women who are creating and developing an online business. And this is the kind of training and coaching and community that we've created in there. And so I'm really excited about it. It's been amazing last 3 or 4 months whilst I've been building that. It's been fabulous.
Yeah. Oh, excellent. It's a great concept, and it's a fantastic
It's different,
thing.
isn't
Again,
it? You know, I did say I like to do things a bit differently.
It's never a bad thing to do something different.
No.
Yeah. So what businesses then over the years have you sort of looked up to for inspiration to get to where you are now?
Oh, that's a good question. Ooh. So,
putting you on the spot.
Yeah. I suppose there's a couple of different strands. There's like the blogging world, and I've looked up to other businesses that have been doing Instagram really well. Tried not to do that whole comparison thing, but taken elements of those businesses that I've enjoyed to bring it into my own, and looked at people like Kate, who runs Mad About the House, and you know, hugely successful with her books, and looked at the way she was using her blog to generate an audience, which obviously gave her book deals and all the rest of it. And she's a journalist in the background, and she was always so smart and confident and savvy, and I always wanted to be like her when I grew up. I mean, now I think I'm very inspired by a lot of the digital entrepreneurs. I know you and we were part of Stu McLaren's tribe, which is about to re-go, isn't it? It's just about to go again in a few weeks. I'm looking forward to that. And I love him, and I love his values and his ethos and what he stands for. And I think that's really important when you find people online to work with, whether you're buying into their coaching or just following them on Instagram. It's kind of, you've got to relate to what they stand for, and they've got to be clear about what they stand for, and you've got to feel like part of that journey, I think. And so, yeah, people like him, and there's, you know, people like Amy Porterfield and whatever, I really enjoy following. And then there are others I really like, you know, Screwing the 9 to 5.
I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, they're a husband and wife team. They're Australian.
Yes.
They're Australian? Yeah, I think they are.
Do I see their Facebook ads and Instagram ads permanently?
Oh, maybe you do, yeah.
Them on a beach and stuff like that.
Yeah. And they're lovely, Josh and Jill Stanton. They're really nice to follow, and they're really great at certain things. They talk about those like Facebook communities and pop-up groups and challenges and all that kind of stuff. Really love.
See, I've always said to Scott, like, we'd be a great duo. Like, he's a salesperson, right?
There you go.
He's like our sales by trade. He knows psychology of sales inside and out. And I'm like, it would be great.
Yeah, you've got to, you know, Jill's the face of it. Josh is in the background on his laptop often.
Yeah, Scott's like, I'm interested in any of that stuff.
But I love that their followers are called Screwies, so I quite like that. So they're quite cool. And I was recently coached by Naomi Madudu, who is the lifestyle edit, who is British, lives in America. And she's got, you know, what we were talking about earlier, her model and her approach is all about creating products that your audience need. And you don't need a big audience. You just need to give your current audience
to listen
and look after them, and she has a really good balance in her life where she's got really successful business. You know, we're talking about 40 and 50k months, but she only works 4 hours a day, and you're like, whoa, there's something in this. So it's tapping into a lot of that, and those are the people that I feel inspired to keep in my on my radar in my audience to sort of see what they're doing.
Yeah, no, that's definitely wise. Right, a little bit of a quick fire round. So if anyone's got, I saw a couple of
I
questions come
see
in,
a
so we'll get to
question,
them
yeah.
after the, yeah,
Okay.
we'll get to that after the quick fire. But if
Quick
anyone else has got
fire.
any question, yeah. So if anyone else has got any questions they want to add, we'll get to them. We've got a few that have already been sent in, and then we will
Okay.
go through any questions. So pop them in the chat if you want to ask a question. We'll get to that after this. So quick fire.
Well, is this like a yes or no one word answer?
Yeah, well,
Ish.
kind of. If you want to
Okay.
elaborate, you can't do. I'm not going to
All
hold
right.
you to one word.
Go on then.
Your favorite social media platform?
Facebook. I'm really
Yeah,
old-fashioned. Facebook. Yeah.
yeah. And if anybody's like, why should I not said Pinterest? Pinterest is not a social
It's
media
not social
platform, is
media.
it? Video or podcast?
Podcast.
Live or pre-recorded?
For me, lives. I love doing lives. Most of my courses are all lives. Everything I do with my communities, it's all based on live coaching. Love
Yeah,
it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
yeah. Filter or no filter?
A filter every time. I'm 51.
You're no, are you?
Yeah, I'm 52 this year. I know. Sounds so freaking old, doesn't it? Ooh. Yeah.
Isn't it funny? Do you still remember when you were like a teenager and you used to think that if someone was 30, they were ancient, and
Yeah.
now it's
My
like,
kids think I'm ancient. Yeah, they're teenagers. They think I'm ancient. But a filter and goddamn good skincare.
yes, yes, definitely. Daily or ad hoc posting?
Oh, ad hoc. No, we don't do
Yeah,
daily. No,
nope, it's all about the intentional.
absolutely.
Uh, DIY or outsource?
Well, yeah, I mean, we talked about this already, haven't we? Yeah, I'll outsource when I need to. But some things I'll always hang on to because I love them. I love them. They're me.
That's the
And
right
they
approach.
fire me up.
If you enjoy doing them, keep doing it. If you
Yeah.
don't do it.
Yeah. Editing
So,
videos, that can always go to someone else. Thanks.
I see, I quite like
Oh, do you?
that. We should swap.
We should swap. Yeah, agreed.
TikTok or Reels?
Ah, TikTok. Hate reels. Sorry,
Yeah,
Pamela. I know
yeah.
you do some really good reels, but I
Oh, bless
I
you.
love TikTok.
Yeah, I must admit, if I had to pick, I'd say TikTok because
Yeah.
there's way more cats and Harry Styles going on over there than there is on Reels.
Yeah. I like the dog
Uh,
that pats the mat and talks to his owner.
oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you can teach dogs to talk and they kind of like, hello, walk now, happy. And
Oh, do you
yeah, and
know,
it
I
hits
see
the
that, but
buttons.
cats,
Oh,
yeah,
really?
cats are
Oh,
doing it. That's the
follow the
ones I
dog account
see.
that does that. Sad.
So I love how TikTok just knows, right? The
Oh,
algorithm
that
gets you
algorithm
so
gets you every
well.
time. Very clever.
Yeah, once you're in, you're in.
Mm.
Your favorite binge shows? Netflix, Prime, gosh, any other ones to
What, the actual
discuss?
names of the shows?
Yeah, is there anything that you're watching right now or just recently finished?
Oh, I've watched so much, yes. I recently re-binged all of Unforgotten, all of Line of Duty, ready for the new
I'm watching
series coming out.
Unforgotten right now,
Oh, love
series
it.
3.
Yes. Have you not watched the most recent series
Is
on
that
that's
series
been on
3?
live? No, it's four, isn't it? They've just done.
Oh, the one I'm watching's got the guy from Men Behaving Badly in it. What's his name?
Oh yeah, yeah. No,
Hmm.
that's three. Yeah,
Oh, so there's
Nigel.
a secret fourth one.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's just been out on TV. Yeah. And then I'll do anything that's like a criminal kind of detective thriller. I do all of those. Everything, all on Netflix. I've watched them all.
Yeah, I feel like yeah, I've completed Netflix now or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
I'm on to. I recently binged all of This Is Us on Amazon Prime.
oh, that's a good one as well. Right, we're getting into question time now. So some people have sent in some questions. So what's
Oh,
your most favorite offer that you've had over the years?
through the blog. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. There's there's a couple, right? I once went on the cruise ship that held the Ant and Dec Saturday night takeaway final in Barcelona. I was That was immense. P&O took us. I could have done the whole 2-week cruise around the Med. We didn't have time to do that, but they flew us out to Barcelona, me and the husband. We stayed on the ship for 3 or 4 nights. We were in Barcelona for 2 nights where they did the show. So we had like press pass at the show, live with Ant and Dec. And then we sailed on to Malta through the Med, and it was amazing.
Oh my
That was
gosh,
amazing.
that's cool.
Yeah, and then the other best thing that I've ever had.
Did you get to meet them though?
Oh no. I was stood right there as Ant was in the background reading his script, and Stephen Mulhern and all those, Stacey Solomon and everyone, they were all there. Yeah, it was just crackers, that one. And the other great thing I've had is I've done loads of travel stuff, but the other house thing I've had is my big Samsung fridge freezer. Big American fridge freezer. Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was cool.
Those are good ones.
Yeah.
Definitely. We've got a menopause one now.
Yeah.
We literally have already talked about this. The brain fog with menopause is wild. Does it ever pass?
God, I wish. I think for some people it can, and others it's just a lifelong thing. And the thing that's helped me is I went onto HRT, and HRT is estrogen. You will need some progesterone potentially, but also testosterone, because we lose that. Our ovaries produce that and we lose it. And it was the testosterone that has, I wouldn't say it's not cured, but I would say my brain fog is 90% better than it was. So I will take that to my grave. It gives me energy. It makes me more dynamic. It brought everything back. Testosterone. Yeah. All right.
Go and see if I can I get them now?
No, you can't. It's really hard to get testosterone. It's a right nightmare. I have to pay for mine.
Oh no.
Yeah, because it is in the NICE guidelines, but it's not licensed for women in the UK. But you can get it prescribed, and some GPs will prescribe it. Some of them want a consultant to prescribe it first, and then they'll carry on prescribing it for you. Mine won't do that, so I have to get all of mine through a private prescription.
So is it like a postcode lottery type situation?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Hopefully that'll change in the next few years. There's a lot of work going on, to make that sort of stuff change.
It sounds like it's the absolute golden egg, and then it's crazy to think that they would let you suffer.
But brain fog is a killer. I mean, we laugh about it, but honestly, when I was in a car park once, and I could not, my brain just didn't have anything in it to tell me how to drive my car to the next level of the car park. It was just gone. I know it's funny, but it's not.
I always remember, is it a bit like when you're like pregnant and stuff? I always remember trying to put the house key in the car door, and my car didn't have a key slot in the door handle.
It's kind of like that.
I'm looking at the key in the car door thinking, where do I put the key? And it wasn't even the right key, and there was no hole.
Yeah, it is like that kind of confusion, but also this kind of just, I mean, fog is the wrong word. I mean, it is just an emptiness. The bit that fired and all connected is gone. It's really strange, scary feeling. I'm so sorry.
I'm terrified, and I'm not even there yet.
Yeah, I know.
What's the best way to start introducing Pinterest into your business? That's a great one.
Good question. Okay. The best way to start is to obviously have an account, have a business account, okay, and find out how to make some nice pins using Canva. So Canva has a pin template in there that you can use, and you're going to need that to make sure the pins are the right size and shape, and you've got some branding on there, some words and your logo or your website name. And it's really important that you kind of use pins that are branded and tell a story. They're like a book cover to the content or the products that you sell. And then to make some boards that you can put those pins into. So that's the best way to get started, is to just do it and just play, but just make sure you've got the right size pins.
Yeah, definitely. Right, I think I saw another question.
Yeah, I saw it.
Where did this? Oh, goodness me, what happened there when I clicked that?
What's your advice on blogs nowadays?
Yes, that's it.
It's
I
Maisie's
can't find it, for
house.
the love of God.
Yeah,
Ah,
I can
yeah,
see it
Maisie
there.
House. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So what's my advice on blogs? So as a business, if you've got a blog, I think you do need a blog as a business these days.
Mhm.
And everyone kind of leaves it because they think, oh, I've no idea what to write and I'm not a writer and it's going to take too much time. But again, it's about planning and content planning, as you know, and just the blog should be, for a business, it should be the showcase of what your business is and how your products fit into your ideal client's lifestyle. It's not there to sell. It's not there to say, this is a new product we've got. Look how great it is. This is where you can buy it. Click here. It's not about that at all. From
Yeah.
a kind of blogger influencer perspective, I think it's probably got a bit harder to start a blog now. I mean, you can. Whether you can build one to make money from it and get free stuff, I don't know. I'm not convinced you can, especially right now. I would say a lot of the established blogs and bloggers are waiting for the industry to kick back in. There are certain niches that have kept going through the pandemic and others like mine which haven't. It's obviously my main client, that would collaborate with me is a retailer, and they've had everything on hold recently. So,
Yeah.
and I think when you're blogging on your own, side of a business, is to realize how much work it is and to not think it's an easy way to make money or get free stuff, because it really isn't. It really isn't. We both know it's a huge amount of work.
Oh, it is. It is. And the day of the influencer has completely changed, doesn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
it was like before at the start, you had to have all of the stuff, right? You had to have the blog, the YouTube channel, the Instagram, you had to
Yeah.
have Twitter, Facebook, like PR companies, brands, they wanted someone that had the full suite. And
Yeah.
now it's like micro influencers, isn't it? So it's like it can be somebody who's just famous on TikTok, who's just famous on
Yeah.
Instagram. And if you're just starting, I would almost be like, well, why would you make it hard for yourself and try and spin all the plates? Spin
Yeah.
one plate and spin it bloody
Spin it
well.
really well,
Um,
absolutely. And I think the
yeah.
blog is great if you're looking at it from a point of view of it being a showcase, of it being a jumping point to make money in other ways. I think you can't just rely on a blog and use it as your one platform to make money anymore. I've still got really good ad revenue from mine, for example. So that's great, but you've got to have the traffic there in the first place to get the ad revenue. So it's, I think it's a great side hustle these days. Whether it can be a sole only moneymaker, I'm not so convinced.
Yeah, I think a lot of it would, like you say, it comes from other opportunities, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, where does that then take you next?
Yes,
It's like, can you
exactly.
then offer that as a course, or can you show
Yeah.
people how to do that? And
Yeah.
and
Or
then you're
get
starting to get into different territory then.
for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, yeah, excellent. I think that was it. I don't think there was
Yeah.
any more questions. Nope, definitely not. So thank you so much for
Thank you for having
joining me
me.
today. It's been super fun, and I'm wholly terrified at what's lying ahead of me with the
I'm
menopause.
so sorry and make it sound awful. Honestly, I mean, it's not awful for everyone. Let's put it that way.
I'm looking forward to getting more joint pain.
Yeah,
Yay!
more joint pain, hot and sweaty, no sleep, bad
The hot
moods.
thing will be good because I'm always cold, so
Hey, don't wish it. Don't.
I shan't. I should live out my last few years of
Just get
life.
yourself off and get some HRT and you'll be fine. Sort those joints
Brilliant.
out.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I'll let you get back to the rest of
Thank you
your
for
day,
having
and
me.
thank you for everyone who joined us live as well. Right,
Bye,
take
everyone.
care.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.